All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Jason DeRoner, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of TeachBoost. TeachBoost is a web-based coaching and feedback platform. So if Jeremy is the measurement for how coaching is doing, we're making the execution actually work by helping coaches give feedback to their teachers. So our goal at TeachBoost is to have a great teacher for every classroom. And the reason for that is simple, and also, there we go. The reason for that is simple, is that great teachers get great results. The research is very clear, and I'm sure if anyone sat in these presentations, you've heard it time and time again, that the teacher is the most influential part of a student's outcome. And this figure, I think, is very telling for that story. So a student with a high-performing teacher over 3 years will outperform a student with a low-performing teacher by 53 percentile points. So the evidence is very clear. We want high-performing teachers in every classroom. That sounds familiar, doesn't it? So that's, of course, the goal. But it's hard to get high-performing teachers in every classroom. And it's particularly hard in 2017 when everything is new and the role of the educator is changing faster than ever before. They're being asked to hold kids to higher standards with new materials, with new technologies, with a more diverse set of students than they've probably ever had in the history of the profession. Not to mention the hundreds of solutions that are here to help with all of those initiatives. So lots of shiny objects to implement in districts. But at the end of the day, this is how we implement them. In the summer, we have everyone sit together in a PD session that no one wants to be at. Most are sleeping or complaining and tweeting, live tweeting the session. And then we turn, after a few days, those teachers out into their classrooms with closed doors and hope for the best. And at the end of the day, we know where this goes, is we might as well have shredded the money that we spend on all of this, and we might as well have just told teachers to leave the building and to leave the profession because they're frustrated. And worst of all, and the biggest travesty, is that we've confused and potentially lost kids, and we promised them gains out of this innovation. But not everyone is doing this, and that's where we start to come along. We find districts that have strategy and improved and ongoing support to change instruction are getting results. They're opening up channels between teachers, coaches, principals, even external service providers and peers in order to create that change and its ongoing support. So TeachBoost is a feedback platform that ensures educators get the right support paired with the right resources to deliver great results for kids. We do that through a suite of web-based tools that allow feedback to be effortless. Whether a teacher wants a second pair of eyes on their lesson plan, whether they record themselves or a coach records them, and they want annotated timestamp video feedback, or an actual walkthrough or classroom visit. We also allow resources from anywhere, whether they've been district created or whether they've come from a licensed provider, to be linked in our system so that they're connected to feedback. We don't need any more resources. We need them to be deployed and to add value in the right ways. And then most importantly is, as this process goes, we need to get teachers in charge of the process. We need to have a lifeline for teachers to get support, to request feedback, to set goals, to really drive their own development. So we have tools that enable that cycle to continue sustainably, because adding more coaches is a dream of everyone, but it's not a reality. So our partners are innovative organizations that have very strong talent development strategies, like KIPP, regions across the national network that we work with, IDEA Public Schools, the fastest growing charter network in Texas, but also public districts like hundreds of schools from the New York City Department of Ed, Camden, Oakland, and hundreds more. Our core team is made up of myself, CEO and co-founder, and I started TeachBoost with 2 identical twins. So we're not very diverse in our DNA. We have Mike, who I met at PwC, and he's our CTO, and then his brother Andrew is a former lawyer. But we recently brought on Dr. Terry Greer, former superintendent of the 7th largest district in the country, Houston. He's also served as superintendent of San Diego, Guilford County, et cetera. He's been tremendous as an advisor for both strategic reasons as well as growth. And speaking of growth, we're not raising, so there are no numbers, I'm sorry. But our revenue growth has been consistent across the board. We've grown organically, having raised only $1.5 million in funding 2 years ago. We're a cash flow positive company, a team of 15. So we've been able to do this organically while delivering results at the right pace in our eyes for our partners. But what's more important, the stat I'm particularly proud of, is that our growth of use has outperformed our growth of revenue. So that means everyone is using the system in more effective ways every year. So it adds more value the more you use TeachBoost. Speaking of the market, I'm sure, again, this is another thing that comes across everywhere. In terms of direct spend, $5 billion in the US on direct PD spend. We estimate about $2 billion of that in external spend. Now, we think there's going to be a shakeup in this because of the divide there, internal versus external spend, with the fastest growing lever being job-embedded coaching. And we think that we're squarely positioned to connect the external resources to the internal efforts. And obviously, there's a lot in that market there. So, in my opinion, we can't waste this opportunity. We aren't going to get another shot to implement this level of innovation in ed tech. And educators need the right support paired with these resources in order to deliver great results. If you don't help people change on an ongoing basis, they just won't. And that's not the fault of them. It's the fault of the system of support. So here's my contact information. I appreciate your attention and happy to talk to you after. Thank you.